His closest competitors and friends reflect on the man who was NASCAR's brightest light.
I know there are millions of fans out there that have lost a hero, but I've lost a very close friend, someone that has helped me professionally and personally through a lot of things in my life.
With the passing of the Intimidator, the focus now must be on the prevention of future tragedies. We also look back at one of the unforgettable victories from the Man in Black's career.
They come toward the line. Who will it be?
RPM Tonight is next.
Going green, this time by. Going green, this time by. Bring them down.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Kernan. Welcome to RPM Tonight. The body of Dale Earnhardt arrived back home in North Carolina late Monday evening. A memorial service will be held Thursday at noon at the Calvary Church in Charlotte. Those services are not open to the public. Earnhardt's car lost control and crashed after making slight contact with Sterling Marlin's car on the final lap of the Daytona 500. Today, Sterling told us what happened from his point of view.
I got under Dale up back straightaway, and I thought Schrader was going with me, and when I looked in the mirror and seen Schrader go outside, I knew it was going to be 3 deep getting in the corner. And I was on the bottom of the racetrack as low as I could go, and they really closed on us fast. I didn't realize it closed that fast, but Rusty, really come up on Dale. I don't know if it got him loose or whatever, but I was as low as I could go, and we touched and got to get away from each other, and then they really come down real quick then. And I don't know if that's when Rusty got right up on him and his car got loose, and when you're middle like it takes the wind off of it, and we touched again, and it sent my car back across the apron, and his too. And that's the last I saw was Dale's car going back up the bank.
There have been reports today that the Richard Childress Racing No. 3 team will return to action this weekend at Rockingham with Busch Series driver Kevin Harvick behind the wheel. But I talked to a spokesperson from Richard Childress Racing today, and he said their plans for this weekend have not been put firm as of yet. Meanwhile, Marlo Klein says it's almost business as usual for the other NASCAR teams.
As the memorial outside Dale Earnhardt's team headquarters continued to grow with tributes from race fans, plans for a formal memorial were announced on Tuesday. Family and friends will attend a private ceremony at noon on Thursday in Charlotte. And just 1 day later, Earnhardt's former competitors will return to the racetrack at Rockingham. So even now, at team garages everywhere, the wheels of racing are back in motion.
We met this morning, had a team meeting, and talked about it. And now we've just got to move on and try and get our cars prepared and go to Rockingham.
It really been a quiet week here in the shop. Nobody's really talked about it a whole lot. It's been busy, obviously, coming back from Daytona. Everybody's got things to do, and maybe that's been a help. It tries to keep it off your mind a little bit.
We've got to go on. David was telling me that some things that Richard Childress, obviously, they're going to have a car there. That's the nature of our business.
Those crews will be racing Sunday, just 7 days removed from tragedy, are not quite sure what the emotions will be when it's time to get back on the track.
I don't know what to expect this week or next week or any week after that. I really don't think anybody can answer the question of how it's going to affect not just the mood in the garage area, but the sport in general.
I think it'll be fairly somber. I doubt there'll be a lot of conversation. It'll just be very, very sad. It'll be a sad time to walk into the garage.
A lot of people be walking around with, disbelief. Certainly I will. And it'll be a different mood at Rockingham this weekend for sure.
I don't think anybody really wants to go to Rockingham. If they canceled it, that'd be fine with all of us. But, it's our job, and we just keep telling ourselves, what would Earnhardt do? And he'd probably have us by the back of the neck right now telling us to get our heads together.
Along with Dale Earnhardt Jr., the other two drivers under Earnhardt's company flag, Daytona winner Michael Waltrip and Steve Park, will be racing on Sunday. Dale Jr. said his dad intended him to win races and the championship, and that's what will bring him to Rockingham. In Mooresville, North Carolina, Marlo Klein, ESPN.
Many members of the NASCAR family are still not ready to talk about the passing of the sport's biggest star. We certainly understand that, but we have talked to several members of the community who both respected and admired the Intimidator.
I'm not sure. I think anytime we have a situation like this, You know, we grieve for a couple of days. I can't cry any more tears. I've been heartbroken. Then you turn to the whys and what should we do. And I think in an incident like this, I don't believe that anything would have made a difference. Dale liked the open face helmet, and he had this theory that the full face helmet would break your neck. And Dale, you got to remember something about a stock car. When you're in a stock car, it's not like an Indy car. An Indy car, you sit and you're confined and you can't move. Most forms of racing are single seaters. You kind of in a little capsule, if you will. A stock car, you're more open. You got to be able to look around. You got to be able to see where everybody is. Dale didn't like to be restrained at all, and he liked that open face. He liked that feel, so he could feel the car, feel the wind. Every driver has a preference, and we all know the options. We all know what's out there. We know what we like, what we don't like, and that's a choice the driver makes. Would it save Dale's life? I don't know. Today, I don't care. I just worry. I'm heartbroken about what happened to Dale. We got to figure out some, things down the road.
It's just a terrible tragedy. I mean, Dale's the type of person that you almost feel like he's indestructible. I mean, he's had a lot of bad accidents and stuff in his career, and he always jumps out of the car and waves to the fans, and he's back next week, and it's very difficult.
This has shaken our world as we know it in NASCAR racing. Me personally, losing a very, very good friend. I know there are millions of fans out there that have lost a hero, but I've lost a very close friend, someone that has helped me professionally and personally through a lot of things in my life, and that's what I'm going to miss the most. And we realize that what we do has a certain amount of danger that goes along with it. I'm comfortable with that. Dale was very comfortable with that, and but this is what we choose to do.
I do believe that we can do it better than we've been doing. I do believe that we have to be more proactive. I also believe that NASCAR cares. They want it to be as safe as possible. We just need to figure a way to make it safer. You cannot hide the fact that we've had 4 similar deaths all within a short period of time. They are not coincidences. There's something going on. We need to figure out what it is. NASCAR wants to figure out what it is, and I think they'll do everything they can in an effort to get it figured out.
According to a story by Ed Hinton in the Orlando Sentinel, the company that makes the Hans device received orders from some 40 race car drivers on Monday. Not all of the drivers who placed an order race in NASCAR, but the company says representatives of Rusty Wallace did call to inquire about the device. At last month's test in Las Vegas, we talked to a number of drivers about the Hans device. Some thought it was a good idea, while others were still withholding judgment.
I really think it's a good thing. I'll tell you what, though, after you wreck some really big wrecks like I've had, like at Talladega 23 times end over end, Daytona, 200-mile-an-hour wide open in the wall of Phoenix, there's a certain way I brace for an accident. And with the Hans device, it doesn't let me brace like that for an accident. And that's the only thing that's got me thinking. I don't know if I'm going to use it because of the way I brace when I know I'm gone.
It's ridiculous that we don't run it. I mean, we need to run it. The Hans device is awesome. I mean, it's been tested. They say that it's the #1 safety device right now in auto racing. It's the best thing going.
I think the intent of it is good. I probably am not the best guy to speak about the Hans device because I haven't tried it. The theory is great. Personally, I don't think I can drive with my head anchored to the back of my neck. I like to move my head around way too much.
I have not gotten to where I'm comfortable with it yet. I still think that there's some work to be done for it to work, with the way I like to drive the car. You got to have a driver that's comfortable. If the driver's not comfortable in the car, he's not going to drive fast.
My size and my condition has been a big benefit to me over the years in crashes, and I just hope that I can get through the rest of my driving career, without having, something that, really, really bad.
Safety is important, and believe me, I've hit the wall quite a few times and stretched my neck, and been very fortunate, but just everything that's going on, we're going so fast in these cars. We need to be prepared so that if anything ever does happen, that it's going to help you survive the impacts.
Scott Pruitt joins us now, and he's been using the Hans device. And after hearing what those guys have said about it, Scott, how exactly does the Hans device work?
It's pretty simple, really. It's a carbon fiber collar. It's held in place by the shoulder belt, goes over the top, actually holds it down to your body pretty tight. And then behind, you see these straps that come off the back of the Hans device that actually attach to the helmet. So on a frontal impact, as the head goes forward, it only can go forward so far before the straps go tight, and it keeps the head from actually shooting forward and getting that whipping motion. Now, you got to remember, this is a lot different than the open cockpit cars. So when I first started working on it and developing it to get working in a Winston Cup car, it was real cumbersome getting out. So we added one more feature. We got that strap, quick release straps. You see how fast it actually comes off. So now you can get it off, get it out, and away from the race car.
Now, you mentioned it's very effective in the frontal impact. There's been a lot of clinical studies. We've got some tape, some video of a frontal impact, and here I want you to explain this.
This is a frontal impact without the Hans device. Really notice how far that helmet shoots forward, clear up to the steering wheel, actually bends the steering wheel up to the top. Shield flies open, a lot of stretch on the neck. This is with the Hans device. Really pay attention to the steering wheel location, the helmet, significant reduction in the amount of stretch on the neck. And that's what we're talking about.
Now, that is just incredible, but I can see how it works in an Indy car because the way you're closed in.
Right.
Now, here, there's a lot of open space inside the cockpit, so is the Hans the end-all, be-all, the cure?
Not at all. It's just a piece of the puzzle. And let's take a look at the seat that we ran last year. Now, this is a seat that I ran within the guidelines of what NASCAR said. It had to be aluminum. And what we're looking at here is a seat that was actually made to my body. Through here, you've got a real good location of the pelvis, have crushable material on both sides up around the rib cage, up through the shoulder areas, good strong structure on the outside, crushable energy absorbing material on the inside, and last but not least, up around the head area. Just as the Hans device protects the head from going forward, we also have to protect it in lateral crash and then a shot from behind. So all this is covered with material that absorbs energy. We're continuing looking at new materials and what else is out there. And all this will be specific to whatever driver, whatever helmet he's wearing, so he's comfortable viewing out of it and comfortable running it.
Well, let's take a look and see exactly what goes on during a lateral crash, a side impact.
This is a standard seat that you see here. Notice how much stretch of the neck, the violent whipping motion. This is actually pretty graphic. It really gives you a good idea. Now, this is with a seat that is significantly higher in strength on a lateral. You look at significantly reduces the amount of movement of the head and of the whole body. Now, realizing these are just prototypes, and what we're trying to do is come up with a seating structure that really makes sense. This would be the next generation. This is something that PPI is working on currently. The outside structure, carbon fiber, very stiff. Want to really control the movement of the body. On the inside, crushable pads. These can be replaceable. Shoulders, up around the head, down to the pelvis area, and then all the way down to the pedals. It's really important that the driver's actually in almost a cocoon, so to say, so when he does have a hard impact from any position, he's protected the best he can.
What about, say, one of the most common impacts in a stock car seems to be a right front?
Absolutely.
Now, take a look at this video here.
Now, what we're seeing is, with the Hans device, but no seat structure, extra seat structure. And what's happening here is, it's a combination. As we talked about, the pieces have to come together. We have to take and use all these pieces together to get this safety that we're talking about. And this is what we're talking about in this next generation seat. We've been working very, very hard on it last year. I know the prototypes are very, very close to being done, and it's certainly a work in progress, but it's all based off hard scientific testing.
All right, Scott, thank you very much for bringing the equipment down and showing it to us. It was very, very interesting. Later on RPM tonight, we look back at one of Dale Earnhardt's most exciting victories. And when we come back, Kenny Mayne remembers the Intimidator's special day.
So my mom named me Kathy with an I. You know, if you think about it, everything with an I in it's like so much better. Like ice cream's got an I, and Gandhi, you know, the bald guy, he was really nice. And then there's Candy, which is sweet. ESPN.com, not one I.
At Wendy's, we'd like to make an important announcement. Our honey ham and chicken sandwich is back. With its big whole breast filet, creamy Dijon sauce, and 2 slices of honey ham, it makes a delicious sandwich. And you can thank Dave if you ever see him again. Wendy's honey ham and chicken. It's all the buzz.
all you want, but nothing can replace the rush you get from a Kawasaki Ninja.
Excellent. Can we have the next group in? We didn't miss a thing.
Rated E for everyone. 8, 9.
For those of you who may not remember, SportsCenter's Kenny Mayne was the original weekend host of RPM Tonight. He's raced go-karts against Jeff Gordon. A picture of his child raced in the Daytona 500 with Jeff Burton, and he was there when Dale Earnhardt won the sport's biggest race. Now Kenny pays tribute to the man in black.
Maybe this is what happens when we die. Everyone who ever cared about us reaches out to make one last contact, an expression to show we mattered. Dale Earnhardt had already experienced something like that upon winning the Daytona 500 in 1998. But just as funerals are really more for the people left behind, the moving gestures seen that day on Daytona's pit road was beneficial to those who lined up to honor Earnhardt. They can say they were there the day Dale Earnhardt won his 500. They can say they shared in it. That's what I'll say. His car drew us in like a magnet. The only release from his pull was to make actual contact, and each one who did came away more overjoyed than the last. It all played out in slow motion. The energy continued to build, then erupted. He'd done nothing to shake us off. We crowded for any angle to see him.
Down at victory lane, Dale Earnhardt has just climbed from his car. He's standing on the roof of the machine, showering champagne everywhere.
Dale didn't spray all the champagne that night.
I didn't wear my suit.
So the shower's out? Welcome back. Now we were preparing for some kind of TV show, but the best theater was soaking in his presence, following the biggest moment of his racing life.
A couple comments, and then we'll show the highlight. Have you seen the highlight yet?
I was in the race car.
Before we start, when we get in the highlight toward the end of it, your mic's going to be open. I'll just let you go. Just, Dale, what was it like? And you're just going to see.
1.5.
The pictures will be right there. Just describe what's happening. Where's your head?
He carried the room just as he'd carried the day, and he was so big we could steal part of him for ourselves. That makes us very fortunate now as we reach out to express the fact he mattered.
We're going go-kart right tonight. Do you want to go? I promised the guys I would
I got
ask.
a big party.
You want us to go there?
No. Everybody else is, he's not.
It was his night, his party. But the thing is, even Dale Earnhardt was powerless to stop others from claiming that day as theirs. Celebrations like funerals or shared events.
And welcome, car fans. We are live from Daytona, and it's safe to say if Dale Earnhardt made out a short list of things to do upon winning his first Daytona 500, sitting in a chair was not on the list. Gentlemen, start your emotions. Dale, thanks for being on the show.
Next on RPM Tonight, one of Dale Earnhardt's most exciting finishes.
We live in a fast-paced world where things change at a record pace. The way we bank, our medical care, communications, and yes, even in funeral planning. You now have time to discuss your wishes with your family at a time that is much less stressful. This is the sensible approach to funeral planning. There's no cost or obligation for our help and advice. Call us today.
Frisch's Big Boy Combos. What's your favorite thing?
Hey! Hey! Come here!
Frisch's Big Boy Carryout. What's your favorite thing?
ESPN.com's like all excited about their sports news and stuff. But all it is like words. And reading. Oh, be careful. My old roommate, she had a really cute boyfriend who liked to read. I mean, like really hard all the time. And then his eyes wore out. And then he had to get glasses. It's just so sad. Now he looks like a nerd.
Richard Petty, the king of stock car racing, released this statement today. Like all of the NASCAR family, I was stunned and saddened by the loss of Dale Earnhardt. We shared a common bond in championships as well as a mutual respect. Our family has raced against his family since the sport began, going back to when my dad and I raced against Ralph Earnhardt. For the rest of this week, we will relive some of the memories that Dale Earnhardt left us with as we look back at the races he won on ESPN. Today, we look back almost 1 year ago as Earnhardt and Bobby Labonte put on one of the most exciting duels of all time during the closing laps at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Here is Bobby Labonte making the move off turn number 2. And Bobby Labonte takes the lead going into turn number 3, but Earnhardt battles back on the outside and pulls alongside of Labonte off of 4. Earnhardt will maintain the lead.
Here's Labonte. He's got to run. This is his last chance. This is his last gasp effort.
They're coming down for the white flag. One more lap to go. Labonte has the good run here in the quad oval. He took a look to the inside. Couldn't make the move. He'll head for the top side of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, but Dale Earnhardt maintains the lead down the backstretch for the final time. Labonte right on the rear spoiler.
And Earnhardt goes in high. That's going to leave some room for Labonte on the bottom.
Here comes Bobby Labonte making a charge. They come toward the line. Who will it be? It is going to be...
I don't know. I don't either. Will look like Earnhardt just by a little bit.
That was one of the closest finishes in the history of NASCAR.
And Chalky Myers just said, who won? Who won?
And Earnhardt's crew celebrates, so apparently he's won it. Dale Earnhardt pulls into victory lane. An incredible job by this driver who started 35th.
The voice there calling the action was Bob Jenkins, who has known Dale Earnhardt since ESPN began covering Winston Cup races some 20 years ago. Bob joins us now from Indianapolis. Bob, you called a number of Earnhardt's races from the broadcast booth. Does one in particular stand out?
Not really, John. I think of 3, and 1 I didn't have anything to do with, and that was his win at the Daytona 500. The best drivers should win the big races, and that's why A.J. Foyt and Mario Andretti and Rick Mears should have and indeed have won the Indianapolis 500. And I was so glad when Dale Earnhardt finally got that victory at the Daytona 500. I remember in 1989 a race that he didn't win at North Wilkesboro when my voice reached new highs when he and Ricky Rudd spun, allowing Jeff Bodine to go on to victory. But I guess the race that I will most cherish in my memory about Dale Earnhardt was his victory here at Indianapolis. Any race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is very special to me. And you remember what the year that he won, the race was rain delayed till late afternoon. As a matter of fact, Dale Earnhardt did not want to race that day. He tried to talk Tony George into postponing it till the next day. And in victory lane, Tony is quoted as saying, well, I'll forget about what you told me earlier today when you wanted to postpone it. Here's your check.
Bob, you also had the opportunity to watch Dale's career grow. Did you have any idea that he was going to turn into such a superstar?
Well, yes, quite honestly, because, and this was something that Dale said in the program that preceded yours, the special that we did here in Indianapolis this afternoon. He talked about being able to relate to the race fan. He talked about how he knows that a lot of people sitting up there in the grandstand work an entire year at their particular job, whether it be a welder, a factory worker, or a salesman. They work all year in some cases just to have enough money to bring themselves and their family to a particular race. And Dale Earnhardt said he could relate to that person. That is why he has been so popular over the years and will remain popular for many years to come. He could relate to the race fan.
And Bob, we're almost out of time. What is going to be your favorite memory of Dale?
After the Brickyard 400, I walked out of the booth across the track into Victory Lane, and I said, Earnhardt, you are the best. And he said, Jenkins, you say that to all the winners. Next week at Watkins Glen, when I get my butt kicked, you'll call somebody else the best. Well, Dale, believe me, I believe with all sincerity that you indeed were the best ever.
Thank you very much, Bob, and I'll talk to you again soon. Wednesday, Scott Pruitt will answer your email questions. If you have a question or a comment for us, log on to rpm.espn.com. We'll be right back. In 1979 at Bristol in April. Afterwards, his crew chief, Jake Elters, said, I like Darrell Waltrip, but at this point in his career, I think Dale is showing more potential than Darrell did at the same stage. We'll be right back.
Fast and dunk. They don't hit home runs. They don't score goals. They don't give smackdowns. My heroes burn rubber. They bite steel. They bleed octane. They risk their life in every turn, on every track, in every race. My heroes race cars. Fast cars.
Computer, note to self. I think we should integrate the customers.
Kema Azunma just can't get technology off his mind. Which means his customers don't always have to have it on their minds. WorldCom, Generation D.
Now, buy a large pepperoni pizza for $9.99 and get Domino's new Cinesticks free. Right, Andy? Freshly baked with cinnamon and sugar topped with vanilla icing. Call now. Domino's always delivers.
Not only does La Quinta have sparkling pools to help you relax, we'll float you $10 cash when you check out. Look for this coupon in USA Today or at laquinta.com and call La Quinta. You stay, we pay.
A great tradition continues on ESPN2, Friday Night Fights. This week's main event, Jesus Chavez takes on Tom Johnson in a 12-round NABF Super Featherweight Championship battle. Friday Night Fights, Friday at 9 on ESPN2.
Something important to keep in mind, Wednesday and Thursday, RPM Tonight will be on at 6:30 Eastern. We then return to our regular time of 7 Eastern on Friday. And one other note before we go, I've heard some speculation, people saying that Ward Burton started Sunday's multi-car crash on the backstretch during the Daytona 500. Called Ward, asked him what happened. He said another car hit him from behind, forcing him into Tony Stewart. See you Wednesday at 6:30. Good night, everybody.